Just come.
Out of him?
One is his off-leash behavior.
Over this way.
He doesn't really recall, and obviously even on leash.
Yeah. A little distractible.
People around, he's very easily distractible.
I see that. Okay.
And then at home, he is around food.
Yeah.
The worst beggar I've ever seen him.
Oh, okay.
Like, jump on you, jump on the table, do whatever he needs to do to get food.
Okay.
But everything else he's picked up really great. Like crate training. Yeah. He goes in there willingly now.
Great. That's good. How does he seem with like other dogs and stuff? Have you had him around very many?
A little bit. The first experience we had, he was like it was a female, and he was just trying to get it on the entire time, and being really annoying. The second time, I kept him on leash. Yeah. And the other dog was actually really, it was not well behaved, and was very excited and just like jumping on him, trying to mount him, and he was very receptive to my command and listened to me and did really well. So
all right, so no big issues there. Yeah. And with people, he seemed fine.
People, he's fine. When we picked him up at the rescue, he was marked no kids.
Really?
I think that's because he's very jumpy. Sure. He goes for the face. Yeah. And he's a play biter. He definitely nibbles when he plays, and so I think those are just behaviors that they saw. You know, no kids. Sure. I don't see anything from him as a dog that's concerning. Yeah, for him around kids. People-wise, he's very friendly. Yeah. Trying to keep him from jumping on people.
Yeah. So you said he's pretty food motivated?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Did you bring any treats with you or anything?
I did. I brought treats and his kibble too. So.
Perfect. All right, you follow me this way. We're gonna go into our other space over here, and we'll get cruising on stuff. So today what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of get started on some like basic leash handling stuff with him. Just start getting him into the groove of things. So first session is kind of like an assessment / session. Good. Okay. Good. One more. Okay. Good work, buddy. Good work. Okay. Not too shabby. You want one of these? Heck yeah, you do. All right, we're gonna give him a quick break, let him hang out for a second, and then I'll have you start jumping into some of this. Any questions on that so far?
No, that was awesome. I guess the big thing is, outside. How do you like add in distractions? Like sniff around and pee, you know?
Yeah, so we'll get into some walking stuff here in a little bit where I'll kind of show you how we kind of categorize the walk up to make it fair for him. But right now, keep in mind all this intro stuff we're doing, though there's some distractions, we got dogs, people, stuff like that, this is basically a box we're working in. So I'm not really expecting just yet much of this is gonna apply out into the real world yet. We're kind of shaping and showing him the expectation of what we want him to do so that later we could proof that and then hold him to that standard around those distractions, right? So usually like first like 3 sessions or so is all like just teaching. So it's not a ton of distractions, just again showing that expectation. That second like 2/3 of the program is all about proofing it.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, that's just something I always wonder. Just because you always see them in training videos. They're all feel, just right up to you. So I always wonder that they want to sniff around. They want to
The general rule of thumb is 2 different things. One, we have to either hold him to a standard of healing and strict, or he has to be totally free, right? So usually what I'll do is I'll structure my walk into 3 sections. The beginning, I do a little bit of healing, provide some mental stimulation, get him focused in on me, work around the distractions. Somewhere in the middle, I'll give him a break, let him sniff around, hang out, be a dog, do whatever. And that, if you look at it, is kind of like his reward for doing a good job with the healing. Then I end with the structure again to make sure I can reel him back in, get him to focus back in if I need to, you know? The second side of it is if you look at the purpose of the walk at its core, it's typically to provide physical as well as mental stimulation, right? So by enforcing our heeling, what we're doing is we're providing both physical and mental stimulation. So I err on the side of, at least initially, the majority of the time doing the heeling and then less of the free time, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
And you'll find he's going to get more out of the walk doing it that way. I usually like, the way I structure mine out is there's like a park kind of near our house. We'll heel to the park, then I'll let my dogs off leash, let them run around, hang out, burn off some energy, then we heel back home. So mine is more of like a destination is the freedom than it is like we're walking and you're just off doing whatever, you know?
Or it's not.
But like I said, what you're doing is a good first step as far as it's showing him that that's what we don't want. But then from there, we need to actually punish for the behavior.
Yeah, we did, right when we first got him, like I said, the jumping was really bad.
Oh, yeah.
We got a spray bottle.
Oh, there you go. How did that work?
It worked for a while.
Yeah.
He was terrified of it.
Sure.
Eventually, kind of just
Yeah.
got over it. Like, I know what happens when you spray me. It's just water.
Yeah, you got to figure out what each individual tool is like, or what dog is motivated by what. Like with some dogs, that's very effective, you know?
Yeah.
In other cases, the problem with some of those tools that quote unquote like startle the dog, so the pet corrector, the spray bottle, or whatever it may be, is if you overuse it, it dilutes its value very quickly, you know? So if you use it for too many, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's working for the jumping, so I'm going to start using it for barking, I'm going to start using it for this, and then suddenly we're spraying him all, you know, for all sorts of different stuff, and he's like, well, like,
I'm just getting sprayed
all the time, and I don't know how to avoid it, right? A correction works when a dog understands how to avoid that correction moving forward. So I usually will pick like one thing at a time, and then I'll use it only for that one thing until it completely stops, and then I'll move on to the next thing.
Yeah. That's definitely what we did.
Yeah.
Once we realized it worked,
Sure.
we were using it for everything that we did.
Yeah.
You know, begging.
Sure.
Really bad.
Yeah.
And that's when I think he realized, oh, this does nothing.
Yeah.
I just keep begging, and they just spray me, and it doesn't matter.
Begging is hard too because if you really look at it, it's kind of gray. Like the dog is not super conscious of a specific thing they're doing, right? Because it's like, well, is begging when he's, you know, 6 inches away from you staring at you? Is it when he's a foot away from you? Is it when he's pawing at you? You know what I mean? Right. It's hard to create a very black and white like boundary with it.
Yeah.
So we'll get into obviously how to address that as we get further along through things, but that's a hard one to go in and correct for.
Right. So I think what we're looking for specifically is so he jumps on him.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
onto the table and stuff.
Yep.
We'll try to get up on. He'll eventually.
Yeah.
Try to get up on the chair.
Yeah.
To get up on the table, and has done it a couple of times.
Yeah. Now that's a clear thing, right? That's something you could obviously correct for. And again, we'll show you how to do that. So. Tightening up with the follow, but aside from that, everything looked pretty good. Together, they're way too amped up. They can't focus, obviously. So, like, obviously, they could play, right? It's not that they can't play, but when we're working, they need to be able to turn that off, which is what we were just working on. Diesel, because he's so wild, try to get some of those distractions really under control right off the rip, you know? So I had him at 100 there at the end there, just for those couple corrections, and now we got him in a nice, good state of mind here, which is great. And then just start rolling through your commands, you know?
In situate, like, by distraction stuff, like, working them, should I still make it work, like, in the facility on like, the first floor, like in here or something, or are you saying, like, more just, like, work,
Just in general, just work them together, and as distractions present themselves, like we saw here, get on them a little more firmly over it.
Okay. Gotcha.
you know, because they both have a pretty good attitude about working and stuff, you know. So we just want to make sure they realize that with the distractions and stuff, they gotta focus it in, you know. And you can even tell each time you needed to hold them, that last time, you probably wouldn't have needed to hold them and they would have been fine. Where the first 2 times, they were really like, oh my God, somebody's coming by, you know. So we want to see them really hit that point like that where they're really comfortable in this. We're sitting here having a conversation and they got really great attention on you and focus, you know. So I think this looks really good. I just want to see some of those things tighten up a little more. And yeah, definitely get right into working them together with all this stuff, you know. And pick like one.
First time, so.
Sure, that went pretty well for first time. You know, pick like 1 command per session. You know, the only reason why we started with come is because you ended with come with him, obviously. So cool, come looks good. So next time, do some bed stays. You know, just have a whole session, just bed stays together. You know. And then you moderate how much intensity you need with the level based on how they're doing. Because they were so freaking distracted initially, just wanted to get that under control. So, looks good though.
All right.
I think the other dog has not forgotten.
Sure.
And she's more of like, we'll go up to her, sniff her, like once it kind of starts to do the play. But,
Sure.
you know, Layla will, you know, she'll creep around the house and make sure she's still.
Yeah.
I know, I just feel like more so young.
No, I mean, it makes sense, you know, and the problem is, and we kind of saw this when we were doing some of the sessions and everything, you know, you are right, like you guys both do have kind of different perspectives on things. Not that his is like horrible or wrong or anything, it's just, they're just a little different, you know? So, you know, given that there is some contrast between the two of you guys and how you view the situation, yeah, I mean, that means that, you know, to some extent there will be, you know, I don't want to say like a limitation, but like, you know, it may, you know, you're only going to get so far with it. You know, and I mean, listen, like you guys have obviously been doing this for a long time now with them, and
I mean, this is
they haven't killed each other yet, right? So.
No. So I think you just hold on to like, sometimes I feel like you felt like you said things that
Sure.
we may not get back to where we were, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like some things like we'll never be able to be in the same room.
I understand.
I'm like, no, I don't think that that's the truth at all. You know what I mean?
No.
So our anxieties are okay. Still there.
Do you still at least, do you guys, I know it's the hard of winter and stuff, but do you guys get out with them together and go do things with them and stuff?
So outside walking, we do it together.
Yeah, good.
It's like inside the house.
Yeah.
That creates,
Sure.
you know, walls and furniture and corners.
Yeah.
Like they just don't have comfortability with that.
Yeah. You know, and really, the best way if you want to continue moving forward with things really is going to come down to like one super small place in your guys' routine, you know, that you can have them together, you know. And for a while now it's been the walks and stuff like that, you know. So like we talked about before, you know, pick a...
I'm doing backyards now with the weather.
Perfect,
Just
yeah.
myself, and you know, a lot of us, I think what we should do is like we're homebodies, so we should probably just like try and get him to, you know, if we watch a movie, just like.
That's it. Something like that. Yeah. Like a situation like that, like evening times, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, they just hang out together.
Yeah.
You know, where you guys can supervise it and not be super distracted and stuff, you know. Yeah, you hang out, watch TV, and let them just do their thing.
I don't mean to interrupt you, I do.
No, you're fine.
Another question.
Yeah.
So I feel, we do have gates to like kind of, you know, give them some separation when we can't supervise.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where like we used to feel comfortable like if I'm gonna go downstairs to do laundry or go outside and not watch them. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get to that point again.
The problem is there's a lot of steps between where you're at now and there, you know? And you have to go through some of the other steps before you get to that. It's not that they can't, but unless you go through the other steps, you know.
You know, if they got up, so like they have access to bedrooms. Some of them know, you know, if we're in them together, like in the bed or in the room, you know, they don't have access together. But like one was up in a room looking out a window or something, the other one happened to get in there. You know, I guess my question is like, should we create certain spaces where, you know, it's okay and not okay? Does that make sense?
Like where it's
like
okay
if they
for
happen
them
to
be
hop
in
on
it.
a bed together by accident. I mean, like,
I don't have an issue with that.
what do you mean? Do you
If
know
they
what
put
I mean?
themselves there, you know,
Or
I
furniture or.
Now, furniture is a dicey one. You know, furniture is one where that's just a nice, good boundary to set in general. You know, but no, I mean, yeah, they both go on the bed together.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's like, for instance, like in the living room, like if they've always had access to furniture. So if like one went on this couch to take a nap and the other one on this one, do you think that's, should I squash that you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, you guys have your routine. That's what you've been doing for so long.
I don't want to rock it. So.
Yeah, it's not that it's going to be the end of the world. It's just furniture with fight. You know, it's one of those situations where it can, to some extent, create this more like clear place that they can be territorial.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. You know, furniture access is one where I'm dealing with dogs that are getting fights with each other. I think really limited just for that reason.
Yeah.
It's not that they can't be successful with it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like just one of those ones where just to play it safe, I kind of eliminate it.
And you're talking together, like with them together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
you know, but aside from that, like I said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah, probably a lot of what you're seeing now, like the grudginess, is probably not as bad as you think it is. It's just because it's been so long, you know, it's just you're kind of still reading into it a lot, you know? But, you know, the backyard thing is another one where even if it is just you doing it, yeah, if, like when it's nice out in your home, hang out in the backyard for an hour or two with them, just have them free, you know? Let them sniff around, let them do their thing, supervise it.
Try to do that.
Continue to force yourself to just do a little bit more, you know?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It really is.
Sure.
But we need to work on it a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and again, like I said, like we want to see it get better, but like, you know, it's been what? I mean, a couple of years now, longer than that you guys have been kind of doing this thing with them for, you know?
Like our whole life.
Yeah, so.
We haven't had a fight in a year, but.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
We're good otherwise. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I know from before we were doing the sessions and stuff like that, a lot of it was, and I remember when we did the last couple, it was with the purpose of trying to get him here so we can get you guys on the same page.
Yeah.
So I can understand why it'd be a little disheartening if it feels like we're still like not on the same page with how to move forward with this, because that does kind of put a little bit of a roadblock in things, obviously, but.
Yeah, I definitely don't put blame on him.
Yeah.
I think it's
No, of
also
course
a lot
not.
of like,
Yeah.
we don't, you know, we just came from work, we don't want to deal with it.
I
Like,
get
what
it.
if this happened?
Yeah.
Totally, we're both like that, but
I understand.
I think
Yeah.
we're in different places and how hard.
I think if you can continue to feel comfortable with, like I said, some of the little things you may be doing, like on the side with them, that'll keep moving your confidence along. And as he sees that, you know, that'll get him on the same page with you too. I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
good stuff. Thank you.
So I just didn't realize it was her. So.
Thank you.
Yep. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Good old bud.
Good. Nice. Good job.
All right, so today what I want to do is start to try to teach a little bit of a sit command.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, so get her over to me. Come on. I know. Come on. Good. Good. Oh, get your little butt down. I know. Good. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Come on. Good. Okay. Come on. And obviously, in addition to the sit command, we're just teaching basic handling here. You can tell she's very skittish and sensitive of this.
Yeah.
So I'm just teaching her, obviously, a little bit of, we call it like physical manipulation or handling drills. Good.
Is that normal with a small dog?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, this is more of a temperament thing and less of like a size of dog thing. Like, she has a very skittish personality, you could tell. And some of that could be because she's so small, obviously. You know, I mean, the world is so big around her, right? But we see dogs that are, I mean, we see mastiffs that'll show behaviors like this.
Okay, gotcha.
So, okay. We're kind of just working to counter condition it a little bit through exposure. And then obviously once she starts getting used to the exposure of it, she'll start taking the food again, which will allow us to then reinforce the behavior a little bit.
Okay.
So, same deal. Just a little bit of tension on the butt. Good. And again, not perfect, still skittish, but not as much like yipping and screaming and stuff when I did it that time. Okay. Don't want it? That's okay. Come on. Let's go. Good. 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 The tail's still going. Can't be too traumatized. Okay. All right, we're gonna let her hang out for a second. Whew. Getting myself dizzy here. Okay, so obviously right now, she's making a little bit of progress with it, but I'm being a lot firmer on her than I've been the last couple sessions. And the reason for that is because, you know, the first couple sessions, she's young, she's a puppy. She's still a puppy, obviously, right? But the problem is this escalation of resistance and this escalation of like using her mouth to bite at the leash when she doesn't like things and stuff, especially with the little guys, I've seen as they continue to get older, that can become a really serious problem. So we kind of got to just like nip this in the butt now. And the fact that we're getting her finally to kind of comply with it, and we're seeing that this isn't a her not knowing what to do kind of situation. This is truly she's just freaked out for whatever reason and choosing to not do it. Because as we're adding more motivation, she's showing that she does know what she needs to do, right? So I just want to kind of work her through that here. Obviously she's nervous, you know, that's okay. She'll work through it, obviously she'll be fine. But if we can get past this little hurdle, we're going to kind of be smooth sailing, because she's really given us a hard time with this the last couple sessions here. So, girlfriend, I want to make this fun for you. I really do. And I tried. But we just got to get you past it so that we can be past it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the easy way again here. Come on. Go with her on the inside, obviously. I just want to keep her moving. Again, I don't mind a little bit of resistance as long as she moves with it quickly once she feels that pressure. And as she realizes that she can comply to that with little bits of pressure, that's where we'll see the stress start to come down a little bit, as she doesn't need the bigger corrections for it.
I got you.
Good, like that round right there, no pressure, obviously. There we go. And that one was great, obviously. These are the hard parts about a dog trainer, you know what I mean? Because like we get put in these situations like cute puppy, obviously we want to keep the process as fun as possible, but because we do a lot of behavioral modification work here and stuff, we see how this stuff can turn into big problems later on. And it's just easier sometimes to nip it in the butt when they're young than to let it become a really big problem. And again, if she's understanding what to do, like that was phenomenal, those last 3 laps right there.
I'm with you.
Sit. Good. Okay. Sit. Good. Okay. Sit. Good. Okay. Good work. Hang out. Live a little bit. Man. You know what's crazy is I feel like she might be like the most challenging dog that I'm currently working with right now. Not for like, you know, not because she's like this aggressive monster or anything, but just because she's very resistant, man. Oof. When she gets in her head, it's like a mental battle, you know? So, but that was great. We're ending that on that. You know, I'm not even sure what time it is, but that was a lot of progress right there. That was a lot of progress right there, and I want to end on a really good note with that. So.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't want long-term stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
You know, it's one of those things where I always tell everybody that, because it's one of those things, you know, like nobody wants to see their dog all stressed out. You know, nobody wants to see their dog looking like they're, you know, being hurt or in pain or anything like that. And it's like, I don't either, right? So it's like, you know, sessions like that are like hard for me too, because it's like, I don't want to have to be hard on you to get you to do this. You know, I want to try to nice it out of you and stuff like that. But sometimes you hit a point where it's like, we got to just get past this roadblock. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And right there, that was fantastic to see, like I said, by the end of that, like how well she was doing with it and stuff. So hopefully, you know, fingers crossed next time she comes in and we're able to kind of pick up right back where we left off there and keep things moving along. So.